Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Team Impact Monday night special call. And it's super special tonight since we have a guest from corporate, Chris Smith. He's one of our regional sales managers. He helps us. He's our go-to guy when Jules have questions. He's super knowledgeable and he's really stepped alongside Jen Diab for some stuff too. So he is really knowledgeable, and we had this idea, Jackie and I, to have him on. Well, I think Chris, actually, I think it was your idea originally, to just share with you kind of what corporate is seeing and how we can leverage our business and what the most successful people in this business are doing, and seeing it from that different lens and allowing him to share. So Chris, we want to give you a warm welcome. We are so grateful that you are staying at work late to be on with us. We feel very honored that you were able to do that, and we appreciate it so much. So everyone, this is Chris.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, Jackie, and obviously those of you who are also sponsored this call. It's so great being here. Honestly, this is one of my favorite things, is to be on team calls, because what this says to me is that there are a number of people who want to come together on a particular team or a community and share the best ideas, get some support for what you're doing, and let's just face it, maybe get a little bit of a nudge forward, because in a lot of cases we will probably have some success, but we also want to have more. So what I typically do is, believe it or not, I really just reinforce all the things that are probably already being said to you by your leaders. Again, like Elizabeth, like Jackie, like all of you might even be saying to your team. So the good news here is I will not be doing any mansplaining, because you all know what's the deal is. You all know what to do. I am making no allusion to the fact that you all are probably going to nod your head to a lot of the things I say, and you're going to say either, yeah, we've been told that before, or yeah, I knew that. But in a lot of cases, it always also comes down to, but I'm not doing it. So a couple of things that we'll look at, or talk about rather, are things that you are probably doing that's going well. But more than anything, I had asked Elizabeth, like, what are some of the topics or themes or subjects that you certainly want to talk about? And one of them is leading with the business. That's right, leading with the business. Yes, for all of you who tightened up when I said that and you're a little frightened, I'm there with you. You know why? Because Plexus has awesome products. So it's really super easy to be able to talk about products. And quite honestly, you're also looking for people who are looking for you. One of the things I like about being in Plexus, certainly more than other businesses out there, is the fact that we've got good products that work. We're founded in gut health. We're experts in microbiome. That's one of our taglines. But more than just a tagline, really, if you're taking the products, I'm assuming all of you here, more than just somebody told you about the business opportunity and you're like, all right, let me do it. You at least have taken some products that you like and or it works. So it is easy to be able to talk about the products. And it's always important to note that you are always going to need customers. So realistically, you're not going to be able to turn every single person that you turn onto a product into a business builder. Somebody just says, hey, you know what? All I want to do is I just want to buy this product. You're like, thank goodness for letting me know. The opportunity's out there. So it's easy to talk about the product. The challenging thing is to find the words to say to approach somebody with the business. So the good news here is there are things that you can say that takes a lot of the responsibility, or rather a lot of the, how would I say in English, maybe, I want to say, I guess doubt, it's probably self-doubt. Sometimes people say, you know what, I said fill in the blank to someone and they turned me down. And I probably said something wrong, or I probably didn't say something I should have. So to take that doubt away, there are things that you could say. One of the phrases that we use, that we highly recommend you use, is, this might not be for you. By saying that, no matter what their answer is, and again, I feel like I'm mansplaining. I'm sure you probably all use this or have been told to use this, but by loading your lips with some of these things, then it takes the doubt off of you as to whether or not you said the right or wrong thing. Guess what? No matter what they say, you were right. This might not be for you, but I wanted to approach you with this opportunity in case it was something that resonated with you. And they're like, actually, I'm good. Hey, like I said, it might not be for you, and it clearly isn't. What we are in the business of doing, ultimately, if you're doing it right, is creating relationships. Each of you have a relationship with at least one other person on this call, if not more. And what you're out there doing is trying to find people who you have a good relationship with that you can give this opportunity to, again, either product or business. I like to use, Genevieve talks about don't make it weird. And clearly that's one of those catchphrases that really works. And I also kind of liking it to being the cool house on the block. I'll just use Jackie because she's here and I always see her posts. And doggone it, if I lived near her, I'm sure I would go over there all the time because it looks like she's got cool things going on. So that's each of you with a cool house on the block. And somebody new moves in next door and they come over to your house one day, knocks on the door, and they say, hey, you know what? We just moved in next door. You're like, great, we're the Hastings. And anything you need, we're here. We're cool. We're fun. My kids. There we go. Thanks. Goodbye. You slam the door. You don't slam the door. I mean, hopefully you don't. You just close it. And they leave. You don't think after they leave, I hope they come over one day and ask for some sugar. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but you just want to establish yourself as a sane human nearby that if they need something, they know where to come. And then you see them a couple days later in the yard, you're like, hey neighbor, you're settling in? Like, yeah, I like your truck. Yeah, I like yours too. You drive away. And then on the weekend, you're like, hey boy, the weather's getting better. I know, it's getting cooler and I like it that way. Great. And then a month later, they come over and like, all right, this is going to sound weird, but do you have jumper cables? Because we need help. You're like, yeah, come on in. Because you've established yourself as a not weird person. You didn't talk about Plexus, and you just establish yourself as somebody that they can trust and they come over and they can ask for something that's unrelated to anything. So that's what you do. You're looking for people who are looking for you, but you first have to establish that you are a sane person that they can relate to. And you talk about your kids. Again, very early on when I started working with Jackie, I'll use her again as an example. I remember telling her, I really like your posts because they're consistent and they follow a formula. I find myself really at least thinking, if not saying, some of the things I've seen in her posts, which are like, hey, another crazy day here in my household. I have to get the kids off to school and I have to make breakfast for them really quickly. What are some quick breakfast ideas that you have? Boom! That's such an awesome idea. You're getting engagement. And of course, now we're talking about using social media with the people that you are trying to communicate with. But you're trying to get some engagement. About Plexus? No, that you're a mom that's trying to get some recipes for some good breakfast ideas. And then one day, because you've established yourself enough and you've gone back and forth and you in a sincere way with that person, they're going to ask you, hey, how do you do it? How do you juggle everything that you do with what seems to be a great deal of success? Like, well, first of all, I got a lot of energy and it's from this product I use, but also I've had this business that I run. It's called Plexus, whatever. At the heart of that, obviously, is you establishing yourself as somebody that they can approach. Again, somebody that isn't weird, but somebody that has something that they are interested in hearing more about, which brings us to another phrase, which is, tell me about what some of your thoughts are about. Tell me what some of your thoughts are about. Now we're talking about some sales tactics, sales techniques rather. And by that, I mean, there's certain things, I mean, let's face it, you are in sales. Nobody wants to be a salesperson, and you're right. You really don't want to be a cheesy salesperson. And each of you can probably convince someone to watch a particular movie that you saw that was good, or eat a particular restaurant that you thought was good. Really, sales is just the transference of confidence in a product or a business to somebody else. I mean, that's really all you're doing. So one of those techniques that you would be using is, instead of asking a yes or no closed question, you think you want to look at something like this? No. Instead, tell me what some of your thoughts are. Tell me why, in your mind, some of your thoughts go towards you not being successful. I mean, if you're going to conjure up some end to this movie, why not the end of the movie is you're successful? Tell me have you had some experiences? You want to always create what I call a table of contents, some type of dialogue that people, you more importantly, can go back to and say, you know, when we spoke last, you were telling me about where some of your fears were, and you get better at it. I mean, you hear me or some of your leaders talking, and maybe we have more experience talking about things at greater length. And you're thinking, I can't speak like that, or I can't speak to that length. It's all about small bites out of the elephant. You don't really have to say all these things. Just boom, I've established myself as a resource. I thought this is something you'd be interested in. You might not be interested in it because it might not be for you. But tell me what some of your thoughts are if I could show you a way to get an additional stream of income or something like that. Speaking of income, since we're talking about leading with the business, there was a survey, and I'm really going to, misparaphrase some of this, but there was a survey of a few households, a number of them, in order to get this this statistic of the amount of money, and Elizabeth, Jackie, and anybody else who remembers knows where I'm going with this, the amount of money it would take for a person to consider doing direct sales in their life. Does anybody know, or you can just throw up with your fingers, some gang signs here, what number you think, I guess in hundreds, that the average person would consider working with direct sales if they can get this much money in their house? What do you think? Or even unmute yourself and throw out some numberos. So we got Elizabeth saying 300 to 500 a month, 500 from Ishana, 500 from Melissa Allen. And actually, you're all correct. In fact, that range was $300 to $500, which is hilarious, because for somebody to be so opposed to doing this business, as we always see, you would think most people would say, I got to be making $1,000 a month before I consider it. It is an achievable amount. And we say it's achievable because one of the things that we say here at Plexus is, listen, we don't want finances to get in the way of you being able to follow your health journey. So I can tell you how to get your products paid for, but more than that, I can also tell you how you could be making a certain amount of money. So tell me what your thoughts are, there's that phrase again, on if I could get that kind of money into your home within a certain amount of time. Tell me what your thoughts are on whether or not you would want to consider this as an additional business or something like that. These are the things that we should be doing with a great deal more confidence. And in addition, this is like shameless plug time here. What Plexus does really well is our incentives and promotions. For those of you who have taken advantage of it, I'm looking at you, iPads and Apple Watches and hats and coats. These things bring people into our business, and we as leaders get people to join. Guess what? In my company, we've got this cute little beanie thing going on, or this great little mug. I got so many mugs. I like pulled this mug out of the bottom of my drawer. I mean, they're mugs, and they're great, by the way. But somebody, look at that, boom! I just took my pink one home there. A lot of these, yeah, everybody sort of just like, we should take a photo with all of our Plexus mugs up here. Yeah, hey, photo up. These are great, obviously, but they are incentives. They aren't the draw to the business. They're really supposed to help drive your business. So in other words, some people are saying, hey, you know what? If you join this month and work X amount of, get so many people to join, you can get this iPad. And what happens is when we put that out there as the goal, once they achieve that goal, what would they say? Like, all right, that's all I wanted. That's all I got. Then cool. We should be setting a larger goal for them about what they have the potential to be able to do. And that incentive or promotion is really just, the cherry on top. We have these kinds of things happening all the time, Candace. If this is something that interests you, let me tell you about how you can actually use it to really structure your business. It's not the goal. It's just, as the name implies, an incentive. So we should be using those to get people certainly in and interested, but to support your business versus be all that it is. And let's see. by a show of hands, but I'm trying to see the best way to do this. How many, any silvers on the call? Show of hands, those of you who have cameras on. Okay, got a couple silvers. Any golds? Okay, oh, good amount of golds. Those of you who raise your hand are gold. Have you been to gold school? Raise your hand, those of you. Okay, got one, got some head shakes there. Heather turned her camera on and raised her hand. Excellent. And here's the reason why. And then I'm sure we've got maybe any ambassadors, senior ambassadors, just joining us. Great, Yashana, excellent. And I said silvers, senior silvers, I might have missed. Okay, there you are, Yashana, great, and Jenny, good. Here's the reason I'm asking. So as we talk about, guys, I almost want to say, most importantly, but all these things are really very important. So you decide, okay, I'm really going to do this. I'm on a great team. I got a good support. I've got faces from corporate that come on. This is something I want to do. So how would I structure my day? So it's the structuring of your day, your Plexus work day. It doesn't have to take a lot of hours, by the way. Honestly, you shouldn't be working more than 2 hours, if not less. And I'm actually talking gold and above. You have decided I'm doing this, and that's why I asked about gold school, an actual winning day, if you heard that, a structure that allows you to be able to structure your day in a way where you're spending 15 minutes reaching out to people on social media, an hour using social media as a marketing tool, and things like that, off the top of my head. Now, anybody who is at a rank that isn't gold, lower than gold, your goals are a little smaller. Same, you still have things that you need to do, but you're doing, say, maybe reaching out to 2 people a day and getting 2 no's, and that's it. Now, certainly I'm not trying to supersede anything your leaders have told you if they've told you to do more than that, but it's very important that no is the gateway to a yes, or at least it's a no right now. And statistically, you're supposed to get no's. People are like, I got 7 no's this week. I'm never going to be good. Yeah. No, keep that going. That's what's supposed to happen. That's part of the recipe. So you are going to be discouraged. I was going to say you shouldn't be, but yes, it's discouraging to hear no. But we've got top ranking members of our organization here who get no's all the time. Celeste Gwynn was just here, and so her face is in my mind as the top moneymaker here in our company, and I'm sure she gets no's all the time, but I'm sure she ain't sweating it. Why? Because she's like, listen, I'm really legit. She was here in our building. If she was primarily here just to make money, she'd be off sipping a pina colada somewhere and just like, I made my money, I'm cool. She is mixing it up. She's coming to events. Why? If I could put words in her mouth, she really cares. And she loves the community and all of those things too in the products. But she has separated herself from the outcome of somebody telling her no more than, say, us at this stage, because what we're saying is, I need that yes. Like, well, what you really need is to intersect with the person who's looking for you. That's really what you're doing. I hope that and without sounding like a Hallmark card, I hope that when I exit my home today, I happen to cross paths with a person who needs something that I have. Jumper cables, a bowl of sugar, or Slim, something. And if I don't, well, then hopefully I'll do it tomorrow. But I hope at least whoever's paths I cross, I will uplift them and not bring them down. Boom. That's the prayer you do every day, and so be it. But if we're really doing this job correctly, we should be reaching out to people, trying to see whose foot fits the glass slipper, and whoever's foot it doesn't fit. We just, Prince Charming only had how many minutes before it struck midnight to find the one foot that shoe fit. And when it didn't fit, he pushed him aside and went to the next foot. He wasn't like, try it on the other foot. Maybe, water retention. Maybe give it a couple minutes. And that's sometimes what we do. We say, you would be so good at this. Oh my gosh, are you sure? Bless and release them. It's no right now. Get those no's, you early rank folk. Golds and above, structure your day a little bit more regimented where you are, and whoever I need to get this to, if you do, I'd love to get, for those of you who are gold and or have not attended gold school, maybe I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna take a chance. get the winning day in the hands of somebody who can at least see that structure. And honestly, again, I've got Elizabeth on this side of the screen and Jackie over here. If either of you have a copy of it, certainly make it available to those who it would make sense to. And I'm saying gold and above because sometimes if you're a silver, senior silver, and ambassador, it can sometimes be overwhelming. And it's like, look, I don't know what to do. This is all, again, a huge elephant to eat. And you give them here's a 2-hour structure, do it. So we really want you to just have smaller, achievable goals. But you leaders who have teams, and I don't care what size that team is, 2 people, 10 people, 30, your responsibility is to follow up with those team members. You tell them, I want you to call 2 people today. When you've done that, call me back. There's the accountability. They call you back. You say, good. Did you call those 2 people? Yes. Did you get 2 no's? Yes. Did you die? No. Excellent. That's all you needed to do today. Boom. Small bites achieved. Now, tomorrow I'm going to give you another assignment, but that's just the schedule. You're telling those people the schedule that they need to follow that will then continue and grow as their team grows and their intention grows. But keep in mind, excellent, 1 bite at a time. Keep in mind that like pushing a car, once you start pushing a car from a dead stop, if you let go of it and a car immediately comes to a stop, the energy it took to get that car moving is all that you put forth. People use the word momentum a lot, like, oh, I'm in momentum. Like until the car can move without your action, you push it and you let go. Once it's going on its own, that's momentum. So sometimes people are like, I got somebody on my team, I'm in momentum. Slow down, cowboy. We need to get this going a lot. We need to now start to duplicate, meaning I brought somebody in, I taught them how to bring somebody in, I got the person that I brought in to stay, make purchases, retention, because I reminded them the importance of the products in their lives. But then I got them to duplicate the process and bring somebody else in. And once that process is being duplicated levels below you, you know, I bring in Melissa, Melissa brings in Jeanette, Jeanette brings in Yashana, and Yashana is bringing somebody in. Once that's happening several levels below you without you having to call, say, Yashana and say, did you call somebody? That's when you start to get momentum, and it's happening several months in a row, but it might not happen immediately. So if you can continue to have the patience, but once again, listen to your leaders when they're telling you, follow these steps. It might not be easy right now, but it's going to be the simple ingredient of you doing it consistently and, you know, predictably, same time every day. Everybody's going to show up, but not everybody's going to come back. So just the mere fact, I'm forgetting the book I was just reading. We just had it in the book club recently. Oh boy, looking at my book collection here. It was something about, again, just doing things consistently. Everybody shows up on day 1 and everybody's there, but those people are going to drop off. And just the fact that you stay and do things consistently, even through the hardship and the challenges and the growth, you are going to be more successful just for that mere fact alone. I'm working off of a Ruby's on the Rise high over here, everybody. So I think that's why I was kind of running up at the face. I with 30 minutes, I love having these calls. They seem like a tight amount of time, but boy, I tend not to leave enough time for Q&A. Now, as this is my bedroom and I'm in my jammies, I don't have to cut this immediately short. I'm being sensitive to your time. Obviously, it's going on 10 o'clock there, for those of you in the Eastern Standard Time. So if you do have any questions, any statements, any comments that you want to make, I want to leave it open. This was certainly not the be all end all. There's so many other things. And you see this board behind me. I've got phrases and words and things to say at the opening stage of the conversation, and you're following up with somebody at the stages. So, I mean, this could be a whole another call. But like Elizabeth said, this was certainly my idea to get a core group of people that are on your team that you know have leadership capabilities, have leadership goals, And that's one of those other ingredients. Setting goals at the beginning of the month, of course, and then looking back at those goals. That's how you're going to be able to see your progress. So let me shut the word hole, and you all let me know, what are some of your thoughts, comments, questions, if anything.
Are you seeing more people coming into Plexus specifically for the business?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question, Elizabeth. And yes, we are seeing so many more people who are coming in because we are seeing such success, and people want to be able to duplicate that success. We've got certainly more than I've seen in other businesses, and I've only been in a couple other direct sales businesses. I see a clear path that people can follow, and leaders who have successfully done it and can teach, duplicate that process, that people are saying, yeah, I'd like to do that. We hear things like scheme, pyramid. We've all probably been approached at some points in our lives by other people when we were like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then here we are. But it's because this is a model that works. And so there's people, and I'd like to think that you're all on this call, who recognize that. And despite the misgivings and misunderstandings of how business works, this business in particular, there are more and more people that are growing within Plexus and getting those levels of success, because I feel like I keep saying this because we have leaders who have the heart that want to help. Yeah, we want to make money. Yeah, we want to feel better. But another ingredient that's pretty important here is the fact that we have leaders that have a heart to help. And so they're coming in all the time.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Looking through some of these questions or statements now, Rochelle. You're welcome. Thank you. Keep the relationship going. Yeah, that if there's nowhere else that I can leave this, my job is a relationship job as a regional sales manager. Again, another Jackie reference. When I first started working here, I went to an event, and she was one of the first people to approach me. And she had admitted, hopefully I'm not telling tales out of school here. She was like, you know what, I've had access to a regional manager, and I just really didn't know what to use them for. And like, hey, that's great. And over the last few months, actually 2 years that I've been here, I've realized, and I've described this role as one of being a waiter. Where it's like, hey, listen, I know the specials. I can bring you water. I can bring you your check. I'm here if you need me, or I can be certainly more involved. And for those of you who don't know, the regional managers mainly deal with like senior rubies, but mainly top jewels, emeralds, sapphires, and diamonds. But what I've come to realize more than anything is, if I've got a good enough relationship with you, then when I contact you and said, I saw this thing that might be helpful to you, here it is, that you'll go, man, you know what, Chris always sends me this stuff that really does help. And so that's your role too. Your role is, as a relationship builder, is, again, not to be weird. And if you're creating the right relationships, somebody will say, you told me about this thing and I kind of put it off, but I'd like to revisit it because I trust you, because I feel like there's more that you really are trying to help me. Again, I don't know what kind of entrepreneurial things that Celeste's doing with her money, but I can only assume that she's probably living a comfortable life and isn't in need of it. So you can only assume that she's really genuinely trying to help people, as other higher ranking members of our organization are. And if that's true, then it's incumbent upon us to then do that. And if that's not you, then maybe we have to talk about how else you can do this, or not do it. I mean, let's just be honest. You don't want to be doing something that you're like dreading. I'm doing it because somebody said I'd be good at it. Like, well, then certainly don't do it. Like, yeah, I had somebody told me the other day, I'm not really good with people. Like, well, that's gonna suck if part of your job is to help people. It's the people part. It's in the name. So if you create the right relationships and you're doing it for the right reason, then your neighbor's going to come over again. Hey, thanks for the jumper cables here. And you know what? This is kind of weird, but we had an extra set of tickets to a thing, and here. It's like, wow, you didn't have to do that. I mean, I had the thing. You're like, no. The next thing you know, you guys, that's how how relationships start. So we've got a product, we've got a business, and we've got people who have a heart to be servants. And again, I like to think that that's all you. And if you're doing it right and you listen to the people who brought you here, then you are going to have a successful business, even if that business is just creating good relationships. Just have to stay focused, be consistent, and reach out to the people who care about you, like the ones on this call. Unless there are any other questions, I always like leaving my host with the last words. Seriously, thank you not only for having me on the call. I hope I've earned the right to come back to another one with more people, same you. And hey, Chris Smith, Plexus, that's the name on Facebook. Chris Smith, that's Plexus. It's a black and white with like a red background. If we're not already friends, find me, friend me. I'd love to see your progress. You know, and if you didn't want to ask questions here and you remember after you got off the call, you can feel free to reach out to me there. My hosts, your final words.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. We really, really do appreciate it. And, you know, we do have the winning day. We do teach it. And I really liked your reminder to when someone is very brand new and they want the business, we just give them 2 tasks. Like, hey, put a post up. I'm going to help you write it. And then I want you to, you know, do you have a list of 10 people that you can think of you want to talk to? Oh, you do. Perfect. Okay. You don't have a list of 10. Just make a list of 10 people then. Okay. Reach out to 2 people on that list. Like just really baby steps. And that's something that I've had to learn because I don't like to micromanage people at all. It's not my personality. And so learning to just, it's not really micromanaging. It's really helping people feel that they can be successful. Just like when I have a patient who broke their hip, I don't expect them to get up and walk the whole hospital floor and do all of the exercises that first time. It's, well, this is what we're focusing on right now, and just really breaking it down, because our end goal is that you will be doing the whole walk of the whole hospital floor and you will be doing all 30 of all of these exercises, but we have to work up to that. And so when we can put it into that perspective, then it makes it easier, right? When we can really just care for the person that's in front of us and wants to get better in their business, wants to get better in their finances, wants to get better in their health, wants to get better in their hip fracture repair, whatever. So when we can break it down like that, it's a really good reminder to not, oh, they want in. Awesome. Here, do this and this and this and this and this. And then we're like, forget you. I have dishes to do and laundry to do. Right. And, you know, they don't want to take that time necessarily. So anyway, yeah. And I really like too, that you reminded us and pointed out Jackie's good. I don't know. This probably isn't the best terminology here, but Jackie's use of social media, how she's adding value. And you said it's predictable. Like, you know, that you're going to see her adding value and that you're going to see her giving tips for exercise for recipes. She probably could do the exercise ones too. Don't get me wrong. She's excellent at that as well. Farm tips, chicken tips, you know, the busy kid stuff. And she's able to really put that in and weave it in a way that truly is inviting to people to be like, oh, that's really oh, that's awesome. As well as just how she does her Plexus posts and things like that too. So anyway, keeping that in mind, you guys, it doesn't have to be super complicated. You can set your schedule like Wellness Wednesday and drink your water Thursday, and, you know, making a schedule for yourself and then sprinkling the other ways that you're adding value in there. And I know sometimes, this is the last thing I'm going to say, sometimes people feel like I don't add value, and I'm like, that's not true. You know, those of you that have had the kids and they're raised now and they're upper high school and college, like, tell us how to survive the high school years. Tell us the tips for raising successful teenagers. That's what we want to know. That's what Jackie and I want to know. Where Jackie and I are like, oh, I have so many baby tips because I was successful in that, right? And we can look back. And then if you're, I have one girl on here, if she's still there, but I'm like, you need to talk about the systems that you have to get your kids up and running and to places on time in the morning, and how you keep, you know, you get them to bed on time, you have time outside with them. Like, write about your schedules, talk about how you do manage your 2 little kids when your husband works crazy long hours and is gone all the time, and you're single momming it, through the work week. It's a big deal, and people need to feel that they can be successful in those things too. That adds a ton of value, just to be encouraging when you offer those tips. So anyway, that's what I have to say to piggyback all of that.
I'm so sorry. I said I was going to leave you to have the final word, but this is too good. This is honestly, Elizabeth talking about social media, and hopefully it's nobody on this call. We live in the age of the Jetsons, and we can turn on cameras and look at each other and have this conversation. So we have a benefit that a lot of people don't. We have a mic, as I call a microphone to the world. So if you have that opportunity to talk to any and everybody, what are you going to say? If you really kind of drill it down, if you're sitting on a bus, let's say, and you're sitting next to a person, what are you going to talk about? And that might just be really a daunting thought for those of you who might consider yourself introverted. If that's the case, we need to work through that. So you have an opportunity. If you're going to be finding people who are looking for you, you have to get those conversations going. So what Elizabeth's talking about is what we talk about all the time, like find your niche, find your niche. However you pronounce it. You like talking about babies, talk about babies. You like talking about your kids, you like talking about farming, you like talking, people go, I don't like any of that stuff. All we're trying to do is find the thing that you could talk about without any prodding, so people can hear you talk and go, well, that's not a weirdo, I can listen to that person. So that's really it. So it doesn't have to be, I got to go every single day and talk about this next chapter. It should be an effortless thing. I like movies. So if somebody asks me for a movie recommendation, I can give you something and tell you with some kind of, intelligence and not spoil it. And you're like, hey, I'm going to go to Chris for movie recommendations. Boom, that's it. So if that's you, that's what we want you to use social media for, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. And then just do it consistently, because that's how you're going to get people. Don't like social media, you're so vehemently against it, you're kicking it old school, going to coffee shops and meeting humans in person. That's great, nothing against it. It's just a little bit more arduous when you've got a microphone for the world and you can get many more people in your orbit. That's all I'm saying. So definitely don't sleep on this tool. We're a generation here who can take advantage of it. So I would recommend that you do that. I said do.
Absolutely, for sure. And the more that you do talk on your stories or talk on your Facebook, like legit talk. Yes, post, but like talk, like do a selfie video and you talk, even if it's about, hey, this was our super quick dinner that we made because I didn't plan my day very well, and here we are. I mean, just talk. It's relatable when people see that, oh, they ate dinner really late last night. Wow, I can so relate with that extra busy day that didn't go as planned. That's relatable. And then you're showing quick things, and just them seeing you, they feel like, oh, I know her. I feel like I know her, right? Just like when we all meet in person, that when we haven't met before, right? That first time that I meet you in person, it's like I just feel like I know you because of your social media. And that is a window to the rest of your network out there too. It's not just us, it's to everyone. So anyway, thank you guys for getting on. Chris, thank you so much. Again, we really appreciate you flexing your day, staying late, doing the thing, sleeping at the office, apparently. And we will let you go.